Welcome back.
To Marriage Beyond the Veil. So, today I wanted to talk about a song by Alanis Morissette, and it's called "You Learn." And she simply says, "You live, you learn. You love, you learn. You cry,
You learn.
you lose,
You learn.
you bleed,
You learn.
you scream,
You learn.
you grieve,
You learn.
you choke,
You learn.
you laugh,
You learn.
you choose,
You learn.
you pray,
You learn.
you ask,
You learn.
you live."
You learn.
Great. So I was speaking with a friend of mine today, and she was talking about an incident where a parent had called about something that had happened with her child, and she was sort of interceding. She was like, "Wait a minute, hold up, pump your brakes. Why is it that you're calling me about something that they need to deal with?"
She was saying this to her parent?
Yeah, she was asking her parent, "Why are you calling me about something that our kids need to work out?" And that's
Are you saying a parent of another child?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
And you and I talked about this. I think you had a situation where someone called you about a child. And I mean, the thing is, we love our children. We really do.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things I used to tell my kids is if it's not broke or bleeding, not falling off, then you're going to be okay.
You got to learn to work it out.
You got to learn to work. You got to learn to work it out.
You learn.
You learn. And in a love relationship, whether it's with your children, whether it's with your partner, whether it's with your spouse, whether it's with your parents, whether it's with your sisters, your brothers, whether it's with your person that you work for, you learn by going through stuff. You're going to cry. You're going to bleed. You're going to hurt. And this is hurting today.
But you learn.
And I know in our relationship, there have been some bumps and the bruises, and, some things have been way worse than others.
Really?
Here we go with the amnesia again.
At least I'm consistent with the amnesia, so
really
you know
are.
it's...
But you live.
And you learn.
Right. You choke.
You learn.
You laugh, and we do a lot of that.
And you learn.
And you learn.
No, the reality is there should be something of value that you get from every experience, every encounter.
Mm-hmm.
And if not, then you've not learned. I just think that we should waste nothing. The good stuff, the painful stuff. I mean, make sure you gain something of value that you can use, that you can share. So be intentional about learning.
Yeah. I mean, because even on the worst possible day, so say for instance you lose your job, you got to pack your office up and you got to leave and whatever have you, and there's a sense of sometimes embarrassment and shame, but or
sometimes revelation that God has something different for you.
What are you learning in that moment? Exactly.
You learn faith. You learn to trust God. You learn that you're not in control of anything.
Nothing.
You learn to depend upon Him, but you also learn, okay, how could I have done things differently? What was my part in this? Whenever there are opportunities where things maybe don't work out the way you strategically planned, or you feel someone's wronged you, always ask yourself, okay, I know what I'm saying they did, but what did I do?
Yeah.
Or what didn't I do?
And that was something that for me, I really had to work on, because being a twin, we were always lumped together for everything that we did. We got in trouble together. Gayla, we got in trouble together, mostly because of stuff that you did. But anyway, we got in trouble together.
Seems like you learned.
I should have learned to stay away.
She was a bad influence.
I should have learned how to hang out with somebody else other than the person.
She was another twin.
Right, they look just like me. But anyway, you learn by those moments, those times when you're doing something and you have to stop and say, okay, wait a minute, hold up. How could I have done this differently? Or maybe I should have spoke up and said something. In the case of our love relationship, I was always that person that just tried to, smooth it over or whatever. And then it would just get to the point where, watch your head, watch your eyebrow. And I would just explode after a while of holding it in.
Oh, yeah, that I remember. Look, my amnesia didn't kick in then.
It took me a long time to learn that wasn't going to work. It really did.
No, because I'm not going to be combative. I'm not going to argue. No. And until you're able to get centered and let's address this in a reasonable manner,
yes,
I have nothing to say.
In that calming voice that he has.
What you can see, it still irritates her. I've learned.
Anyway, so you pray, you learn. You ask, you learn. You live, you learn.
So ask yourself, what are you learning from your experiences, from your relationships? Because at the end of the day, you need to learn. Until tomorrow, if the Lord says the same.
Have a good evening.